Hey guys, welcome back today. This is Cam. Today we are gonna take care of this little sad dendrobium mini purple. I've been neglecting this plant for the last 6 months, and I think it is time to fully attend to this orchid before it actually completely died up on me. I can see some of the cane has suffered some rot due to the cold temperature that we have here in Southern California. If you guys haven't noticed or haven't heard the news, we have a blizzard this past weekend, and all the mountains are pretty much white right now because of heavy snow. We get as much as 7 feet of snow in the mountain, and some area in the LA County actually have some snow falling down and some hailing. So it's pretty cold. Night temperatures around 40s, maybe below 40s. So this dendrobium here needs to be repotted. I meant to repot it a while back, but I postponed it. And so today, I don't think we're gonna have any more crazy weather like these cold temperatures that we had the last week. So I think it's perfect time to go ahead and just repot this particular dendrobium so that it can be more happier. All right, so let's go ahead and tackle this procedures. You can see here the pot is pretty dirty because it's sitting on the rack there. When it rained, the water splashed up, and you have all this soil there. In the past, I tied this plant down with this clipser. Okay, hopefully you guys could see on a closer up. I use these floral wires to tie my plants down so that it doesn't wobbling around. So today we're just gonna cut this out and remove this plant. I don't think there's much roots left. The fact that it went through so much stress and it sent out so many cakeys for me. And media here pretty much gone. And I have a friend here, this little guy looking for food. This little guy here, I'm not sure you guys can see it. Little crawler looking for food. So I think it tells me that this media is done. And naturally though, you can see there is no root. Hence why this plant looks so sad over the year. I think I repotted it before I moved, but it didn't like it. So I got some little friend here as well. This friend can go back to my garden, throw it back to my soil. And you can see some of it has rotted it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up and we'll go from there. I have a lot of keikis that I can also pot them up. So we'll see what's left. A lot of this are naturally falling out because the fact that this plant is no longer having any roots, any viable roots. This can actually go on its own. Not the greatest deal, but I'll take care of it once I clean this thing up. This one is rotted it. And looks like there's a natural division here. Looks like it's gonna divide like that. And this is dead. So this one here, I'm just gonna take the keikis here. I know it doesn't look that good, but I can put the keikis in my greenhouse there where it's gonna get 100% humidity and it was just gonna be doing great. Again, I don't mean to stress this plant out to this point, but given the fact that last year was a crazy year for me. I had a newborn baby and work plus taking care of my orchids is not the greatest deal, plus the baby. Looks like a lot of these keikis, a lot of these divisions just have like 3 bulbs naturally. 3 canes, sorry, not bulbs. And this does bloom for me before, so, or it did bloom for me before. You can also propagate these by putting in a greenhouse or somewhere that has moistures. It was just gonna send out new growth. Not too concerned about that. So I'm gonna see if I can get some bigger clumps instead of some tiny clumps that I've been getting. Pretty bad, this orchid here. Some of these canes have dried up. This one is dead. Anything's dead or about to be dead, I was just gonna leave it as it. I don't know what happened. I guess when it go through that sunburn cycle, it was in a stress mode, so it didn't really put out that much new growth. And so it's been stalling there for a whole year, using up all the old cane's energy. I don't know, it looks pretty beat up. But let me remove this old cane here. It's dried and wrinkled. Not gonna do me any good. All of this old spike needs to be chopped off. They don't serve any purposes anymore. It does have a lot of keiki, so that's a good thing about it. So if you worry about losing these plants, I wouldn't worry about it, because all these keikis, they still works. Like this one falling off naturally, so I'm just gonna leave it aside, and I will propagate those on a separate video. So this clump here, I'm just gonna keep it as it pretty much. And this is just gonna be a dendrobium without roots, okay? Because the fact that all the root system has been dried out and it's been dead. Let me remove all these dead materials before I repot them, so that you guys could see how the plant looks like. I know many of you guys says, well, why don't you repot this sooner? I know, I should have repotted sooner. Should have repotted back in July last year, but the fact that I didn't, and stressed to this point, I didn't mean to, okay? So what I'm left with is this large clump here with some keikis and some smaller clump, which I can bundle them up and pot them together. This orchid is gonna need some staking, because the fact that it has no roots, it cannot be support its own self. So staking would probably be a good idea. Let's go ahead and remove all the dead materials. There's no need for it to stay here. This I might just throw into my moss pile and just let it propagate itself. The good news is I have a lot of keikis to give away. Bad news is I have a plant without roots. So it's kind of a paradox here, where you know you get more plants, but you get a mother plant that has no roots. Okay, so let me go ahead and clean this up and we'll do the repotting video. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. I was just gonna repot this plant here into this pot and we'll go from there. Okay, so it's just gonna sit in the middle of the pot like this. I think this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna repot into my media here, which is rocks and bark. And that's the one that I've been using the past year. The rock here will allow some drainage, and so it's really gonna help the plant's roots not to suffocate it. You can also use perlite, but I don't have perlite, and so this is what we'll do. I'll use a chopstick to stake it. This is a plastic chopstick you can get in any Asian grocery stores. They're dirt cheap. I think $2.50 for like 6 or 10 pair. So it's really what you call this, really inexpensive. Okay, and given that it is plastic, it would not rot or grow any mold. And oftentimes when you put a stick in there, it often have mold or rotted it after a period of time because of moisture. So if you use those bamboo stick or those grill stick, it will eventually rot. And plastic is a long-term solution. It's gonna stay there for years. Okay, so it's a good investment. So if you want to use some plastic chopsticks, feel free to use so. I'm using it, so I know this cane here is it's kind of green, yellow. So I'm probably gonna remove a few more of these cane because they're yellow. But at the same time, I don't want to remove it, so I was just gonna leave it in there and let it grow. The plant is just gonna basically sit on top of like that, and I'm probably gonna tie it up with some wires later. And while at it, I probably will remove those keikis there. I don't want it to drain any more energy from the plant itself, so I'm definitely gonna remove those keikis. And those keiki can go in its own pot. Unfortunately, though, I am running out of smaller pots. So, like this one right here, it's gonna snap it up. It's already coming out. So, this one probably can stay there for a while. And I got some wires back here that I use to tie my plant with. So, this is what I use to tie the plants down. You can use any floor wires you want, but this is what I have here, and this is what I'm going to use. First thing I'm going to do is tie down a couple of canes to the chopstick here, and I'm just going to wrap around it real tight. You don't want the plant to be wobbling around, and I think this is good. And what I'm going to do is wrap it a couple more times. And then just gonna tight it. I think that should be good enough. So I don't think this plant is gonna go anywhere. It's still wobbling a little bit, but at least it's not gonna be wobbling too much. And this plant, we're just gonna sit in that rack there. We're just gonna water them firmly. It's not gonna move anymore. Fresh media, hopefully this would do a lot better than the previous one. And I probably need to get a new tag for this because half of the tag, some of the tag broke off. But this is a Dendrobium mini purple. It is a bunch of purple flower when it bloom. It's really nice flower when it bloom. But unfortunately, like I said, I've been neglecting this plant for over 6-7 months, and that's what happened. Okay. So there you have it. Complete repot this plant. Hopefully from now on, it's gonna be happy. It will probably gonna sit in my greenhouse for the time being because I wanted moisture. I want to have the humidity so that this plant can actually regrow the root system. Knowing that I repot this in bark and rocks and not bark and moss, which I don't have moss right now. I don't have any dry sphagnum moss. I only have the, what you'll call this, the live one, which they are still growing. Okay, so this is it. One plant. Now, I decided for my second one, I'm gonna take some nice size keiki or division there. I'm gonna do a semi-hydroponic. Okay. To do that semi-hydroponic, you need about 1.5 inches of reservoir. Okay. Um, let me get a drill and then I'll drill some holes. Be back. So there's actually two ways of getting a hole. One is you can use a soldering iron, or in my case, I use a drill. Doesn't have to be exact. About 1.5 to 2 inches fine above there. So you're wondering why I use a drill instead of soldering iron, which is faster. You heat it up, you just melt the plastic. Melting plastic is great, but also melting plastic is going to release some kind of fume. And I don't like to inhale that kind of fume, okay? So I made 2 small holes here for drainage. If you need to flush your media, it's going to come out right here, which you do need to flush it every once in a while. I have here some clay pellet. This is hydroton kind, so any clay pellet would be fine. Just have to rinse it, get all the dust out, okay? And that's what I'm gonna do. Remember this, you don't want to put a wooden stick in there because that's organic material, and that organic material is gonna be rot over time, okay? And so I'm gonna go through this and see if I have any good size. Actually, I don't have any good size keikis. Alrighty, so I guess I found one that I actually want to be putting in there. So I'm gonna group these two together and put in this semi-hydroponic container here. You can see some of the root are still good. This is still green root, so this is actually pretty good. This root actually is still green, sorry, snapped it out. It's kind of hard to tell when it's not moist. So I think that's all there is left on the live root wise. So what I'm gonna do is I am just gonna fill this up. Since it has no root, I'm just gonna let it sit on top like this, like so. And I think I'm just gonna tie it down like that. It's just gonna sit like that, okay? And over time, it's gonna grow. And that's what I want. I want it to grow. And hopefully this, I wanna carefully just tie this up along with the chopstick so it doesn't move. And I think that's it. Just gonna tie it. I'll just wrap around a couple more loops on the top. It's okay, you can wrap it really tight. The dendrobium, once the cane matures, is no longer gonna grow. It's just gonna stay like that. So you worry you're gonna tie too tight and it's gonna damage the plant. To be honest, it's not gonna damage the plant. It might have some, you know, appearance defects, but definitely not gonna damage it. Okay, so I think I got it where I wanted it. Just gonna leave it like that. The problem is I got two cane here that grow sideways, but they're already mature, so they're not gonna go anywhere. Hopefully the new one's gonna go straight up. That's what you want. That's why I put this in the middle and this is where it's gonna go. As for the rest of these, I was just gonna put in my greenhouse over there and let it do its thing. Once I see more new growth coming out, I will repot this. But for now, all of this that are still alive will go straight to my greenhouse. Okay, guys, so this is it. I've taken 2 of these plants here. All right, so finally got a chance to repot this orchid. I'll put a tag in here so that I know this is Dendrobium mini purple, okay? And it's just a mini flower. If I find the bloom pictures that I had in the past, I'll definitely post on above for you guys to reference how the bloom looks like. This is really, like I said, it's really nice color, really nice plant. Unfortunately, it's been neglected for too long, and that's what happened. And today we get around it and we finally fix it. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up and follow me on YouTube channel and my Facebook page as well for future videos. Thank you, guys.